That down, let's move on to this, shall we? Cobra Kai has filmed its final punch. The last wax on and wax off has now been shot. It's completed. And of course, the final season will be airing here in a couple of months. This coming to us from the folks over at Screen Rant, who wrote this. Filming has wrapped on Cobra Kai Season 6, which is the final season, with co-creators Josh Hield sharing a heartfelt message, beginning as a YouTube scripted series and then moving on to Netflix, where it became an Emmy-nominated success for the streamer. Now, let me just put this out there. I am not a fan of Cobra Kai. I was very, very excited when it was announced because I thought the concept of it, picking up on the story of Karate Kid decades later with Johnny. I mean, I just thought the idea was brilliant. I loved it. And then I watched the show and it's not for me. Now, my wife was also watching the show and she loved it. Her friend Kaori, she loved it. A lot of people, like Harloff loves it. I mean, a lot of people love this show. But it's now ending its run and it's done. And whenever a show like this is nearing its end, I like to think a little bit about, you know, we touched on this a little bit with Yellowstone about what's the legacy of the show. Now, remember, I am somebody who doesn't really like the show. Not for me. But let me tell you something. This Cobra Kai has had one of the most unusual and wonderful journeys as a show. And I'm not talking about the story in the show. I'm talking about the show itself. It was conceived of as a continuation of an old 80s movie. Looking at it from a different perspective. It started, a lot of people forget, it's on Netflix now. It started as a YouTube show.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
A premium
It's actually
YouTube show.
the reason why I signed up for at the time was YouTube Red, now YouTube Premium. So I could watch this first.
A lot of people did. And it found a following, right? Listen, I'm not a fan of the show, but one scene that I loved was when they're talking to Johnny, and now Johnny's looking back on when Daniel first came to town and came to their school, and looking at it from Johnny's perspective, Daniel was the bully. Daniel was the crap disturber. He's the one who came in and just made Johnny's life miserable. And it's so weird when you look at it, the same story and the same events from two different points of view. And I just thought that was a brilliant scene that they did. But take a look at this. The show, this little YouTube started show, went on to get 9 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Now, a lot of them were for best stunt work and best sound mixing. But in 2021, it got nominated for best comedy, an outstanding comedy series, a show that started on YouTube. And it went on to do that. Beyond that, it gained legions of followers. People loved the show. I was not one of them, but it had a huge amount of followers and love. And it kind of, I think, opened up the possibilities, the types of things that you can do. If you've got a platform and you got a little imagination and not even a big budget, you can make the next global hit. And so, Rob, as I look back now the final season hasn't started airing yet, but they've finished shooting. And I look at this show that wasn't even for me. Its legacy is amazing. What it was able to accomplish, the success it had, the audience it got, the love it garnered from the people who would watch it, and the fact that they were able to turn it into 6 frickin' seasons is amazing to me. How do you think a couple of years from now, well, number one, what do you think about it now that it's wrapped its final season? And how a few years from now do you think people are going to be looking back at this series?
Well, the thing that always struck me, it was funny because I too signed up for YouTube Red to watch the first season of the show. And this was, of course, after a little bit of cajoling and hearing about it from people. When I watched that first episode and William Zabka,
Yeah.
Zabka, and the story they told about him, I was immediately drawn in, and I thought to myself, okay, the people that are making these shows, like when he went to the car dealership and all that, they love Karate Kid, and whether you, I just thought that seeing the love that they poured into this, by all intents and purposes, it probably should have been horrible. I was like, I liked it. I'm like, this is a really great approach. It reminded me of what Ryan Coogler did with Creed. He loved the Rocky franchise. He had a new approach, but this was taking canonical characters, keeping everything. It's what I love. You're keeping it all in canon. You've jumped ahead 35 years or whatever, and you're telling this story that I found it surprisingly effective, especially those first couple of seasons too. Then it kind of got silly, but at least they kept bringing characters back from the movies, the sequels. There was a love for the IP. So for the people that love the show, I thought great. And the people that made the show, clearly there was a lot of love there. So I'm glad the fact that, what is this, season 6?
Season 6.
Season 6. The fact that it went 6 seasons.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So I think it's fantastic that they're going this far and they've decided on an end point. They've got a new Karate Kid movie in the works. I think that ultimately this show does nothing. If nothing else, it puts a smile on people's faces. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, again, what a success. And you know you've done something really good when somebody who doesn't even like your show's going, wow. Like, wow, look at what you've accomplished. It's just incredible.
And the idea is William Zabka's character, to make him the focus from the very beginning. I thought that was an audacious, bold choice. And they figured out a way back into the franchise that honored everything that had come before and given a new spin. Immediately, you're like, where are they going with this? And I thought that was a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah.
I was blown away that they did it because it started out with a very low budget. It was not a big budgeted show.
I don't even think it ended as a big budget show.
No.
I think they always kept the budget really low.
And they got the people on board. I mean, clearly they were having a ball making this show. A ball. And it came through.
Well, seriously, good for them. And of course, the final season is coming out. I won't be watching it personally, but I know a lot of people will. And again, what an incredible legacy this show is going to leave behind. Just about introducing what's even possible and trying to do shows like this.
Yeah.
Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Liquid IV. It seems like summer's just designed to make us thirsty, whether it's camping, hiking, playing sports, and staying hydrated is the key to making the most of every moment. Because summer requires extraordinary hydration that's built for everyday dehydrating moments. Liquid IV hydrates you with benefits like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick, it's clearly why Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. Just tear, pour, and live more. Just 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. With 8 vitamins and nutrients, non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. There's no artificial colors or sweeteners, and it's got 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code CAMPEA at liquidiv.com. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They have filmed the final episodes of Cobra Kai, a show that went from a little YouTube show to, I think, legitimately being a bit of a pop cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
How do you think about it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.